On this episode of the Always Go Big Interview Podcast, I have the privilege to interview someone that brightens my day when I'm feeling down. He brings a ray of sunshine with every video. It's Michael Ray with the Smile Project Louisville. This guy, you may have seen his videos. They're like 10,000 views at a time. He goes out and gives random acts of kindness, and he shares the importance of giving a smile away to strangers. His dream is to create smile ambassadors all across this country and eventually the world, starting in cities like Philadelphia and New York. And he does this all with his own funds. If anyone needed to be rich on this planet, it's Michael Ray. Find out why on this episode of the Always Go Big Interview Podcast.
You are watching the Always Go Big Interview Podcast. It's an interview with those who have big dreams. My name is Troy Ritchie, and I'm a future filmmaker with enormous aspirations. Join me in receiving inspiration from some of the most influential people with big dreams of their own. Learn how to overcome negative self-talk, remain focused, and accomplish everything you've ever dreamed possible by their example. If you ever wanted to be a part of someone before they broke big, now's your chance on the Always Go Big Interview Podcast.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode of the Always Go Big Interview Podcast. We have special guest, Michael Ray. What's going on, Michael?
What's up, brother? Good afternoon, man. God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you go by Mike or Michael?
You know what's funny is mostly Michael, but a lot of my friends that have known me for years because they call me Mike, but it's all good. I go by everything.
Yeah. Well, we before we started recording, we did a little prep. Tell a little bit, like Reader's Digest version of your story and what you do and why you do it.
Well, so on most of these podcasts, a lot of times I don't have my co-pilot, but hey, say hi. Hi.
There you go.
So I've got my daughter, Maddie Moo, and truly, she was probably, there's no doubt in my mind, she was the genesis or, kind of the foundation of where things started. And that is she said hi, but she's about 98% nonverbal. So most of what she says is not articulated. And I often laugh when she kind of talks and babbles to me. I'm like, dear Lord, girl, you're speaking in tongues. So, we take for granted as parents, we always hear those three words, I love you. Mm-hmm. And I've never heard my daughter, Maddie, say, I love you. Mm. But yet she speaks to me differently. And for years, I often say she saved my life. She saved my life through her interactions in a nonverbal way. And that was primarily smiling. Mm. So I had that going on in my life for a long time, and I truly do mean that, that she saved my life. Again, we all go through these challenges in life, and a lot of times we don't know what strangers are carrying on their hearts and in their minds. And that's really where the second piece kind of collided with my daughter, Maddie, and that was the simplicity of rolling through a drive-through. We take that for granted as we go throughout the course of our normal days. And for me, I was having a horrible morning. And I rolled through like I did so often to get 2 large chilies at Wendy's. And it was an interaction with a stranger in just that 30, 40 seconds. And again, it happened so fast, but yet it was so uplifting for me. It was energizing. She smiled. She made me laugh in just that quick moment. But yet it meant enough that I actually, I pulled my car over and I broke down crying. And it was, I really felt the presence of Christ talking to me. And I'm like, what in the hell are you trying to tell me here? Mm-hmm. But in the moment, I knew it meant enough to me and kind of how it was transforming me in that moment to be the creepy dude who would get out of the car and walk back up to the drive-thru. And that's what I did. And of course, I laugh about it. But yet, because the first instincts of anybody that you walk up to a drive-thru, is what's wrong, sir? And that was sure. the beauty of the moment is that nothing was wrong. It's what was right. And I felt like I needed to tell her that. Huh. So spent another 30, 45 seconds thanking her. I asked her if I could take a picture to remember the moment. And she obliged, and we smiled together. And then I went on my day.
When did you realize video? Because a lot of the guests on this Always Go Big interview podcast are content creators on LinkedIn, and I think you're growing up that. I'm a tier 4. You're going tier 3. You're going tier 2. I mean, you're climbing up there with the number of followers. When did you realize moving motion pictures was going to be more impactful?
So I had done a handful with my daughter Maddie.
Okay.
To kind of share the love that I had felt. But again, I was only sharing it on Facebook. So, of course, we took the next week or so. We kind of thought it through. It was going, okay, we're going to actually just find totally random strangers.
Yeah.
And try to, in the moment, change the course of their morning and day to get them to believe in love,
sure,
humanity, all of it. And that's what we did. We went to a local grocery store.
Yeah.
In one of the worst parts of town. And the thought process with that was, when we did our first one, look, we want to find somebody possibly that has need. If we're going to give them something of value, okay, God, let's find somebody that maybe needs it. So we did. We went into the inner city. We had 4 of us. We walked up and down the aisles. We saw 2 mothers with kids, and then it was that dilemma going, holy crap, which one is more deserving of the other?
A lot of people.
It's like, all right, God, lead us in the right direction, because our hearts felt compelled to do both. And we settled on $50 because and I'm just being transparent, and we looked at it going, look, 10, 20 bucks is nice, but what really moves the needle? So we walked down the aisle. We did it, and we videoed it.
Yeah. Well,
and it blew us away.
Yeah. Now somebody's going to watch this, and they're going to say, "Well, that's just Michael. I don't have that in me." How can you share a little bit of what we call imposter syndrome? How to overcome it? What are some negative thoughts that you were hearing that said you're not worth this? Who do you think you are in doing this? How do you overcome that? Or do you even have those?
Well, so I will tell you, that there were 2 people that really, from a social media and mindset perspective, that I had literally watched and listened to for years. The first one was Gary Vee. And the second one was an amazingly positive human being by the name of John Gordon. Well, so Gary Vee first, look.
Yeah.
We are all amazing, awesome people. But what happens a lot of times, and I believe that, damn it, I love who I am.
That's right.
Now, when I say that, my ego's in check. I'm not better than you, brother. I'm not better than anybody else. But 100%. I love who I am. Amen. So if you can find so much self-love and you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone, then amazing things can happen. So a lot of times, the reason why we don't step out of comfort zones is because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't love ourselves enough. And we're not worrying about, in the moment, being perfect, because it's not about being perfect. None of us are perfect.
So how did you do that? Or did you not have those doubts?
Well, I created the mindset. And again, look, the analogy I always go to, it's like losing weight. If you got to lose 50 pounds, hell, you got to put in the work. You got to get in the gym. You got to eat better, whatever you have to do in your life to do it. And it takes time. So for me, hell, it took time. It probably took me the better part of several years. Just, again, filling my mind and believing in myself to get out of that depressive mind state. To know that I could be a culture of change, that I was that amazing. So, again, and that's when you go do it, you don't have to worry if hundreds or thousands of people are going to watch what you do.
That's right.
When you're trying to change the damn world.
That's
if you get a negative comment, who cares? I got to a point in 2016 and said, the hell with it. I'm gonna fix me.
Yeah.
And it takes you.
Nobody fixed you. I mean, there's movement on our side that we have to take action on. Now, this is where I get mad. You need to be rich beyond belief to spread this, right? I believe that. And so when I see what you're doing, you can't fake that. Right? You can't. Hollywood would probably turn away the script, right? Because it's so authentic, and no one can do that. And and quite frankly, when I first saw your videos, I was like, who is this guy, Smile Ambassador? And then I watched another one, and I realized it's with your genuine purpose of others, loving others, right? And not only loving others,
I'll tell you,
action.
and that's the one thing. Again, we're all wired differently with
Sure.
different personalities. But I've often said this. Some of my most beautiful strengths that God has blessed me with is that I am very welcoming. I'm very charming. And that when I approach strangers, it's almost as if they know me. So
Yes.
they allow me into their personal space.
Yes.
And I am blessed with that.
Hold on, hold on. Can I challenge you on that? Because other of us watching, we're going to think that we don't have that. Is it also a skill that we can acquire?
I think it's yes. I think it's a skill. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise, you're the only one. We need
No,
more.
and that is not true. That is not. Yeah, that is not true. That is not true.
So let's.
But I do give glory to God with that. When I'm in those moments afterwards, I'm like, all right, thanks God. I appreciate it. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think you're a fantastic example. You inspire me to go out and meet my neighbor. You know, I don't want to get in a debate about protesting and riots and so forth.
Yeah.
I just believe that if we took the same energy to march as if to do what you're doing in a one-to-one, we will have more impactful change than just getting someone else, another politician up there, that's just going to swing it somewhere else, and then the other half's going to be upset. What about the one-to-one? And that's your example that I see as a one-to-one action. Like love is a verb, right? You've heard that, right? And you're actually showing that. So,
love is, I say that, love is doing, love is being selfless. Love is actually doing for others and putting them before you. It is a damn verb all day long.
And I think you're a great example of that. So let me ask you, though, tell us your big dream. This is the Always Go Big interview podcast. Tell us your big dream, like we discussed in the prep, about scaling.
Well, I honestly, there's two. The short term is if the free world ever opens up to where I get an opportunity to sit with my daughter, say hi, on those white leather couches with Ellen. Okay. So that's my short-term dream. My long-term dream, I think, is beyond the United States. It's beyond North America. It's getting this to the point where, and this is the beauty of how it's been embraced on LinkedIn, it's truly global. It's the opportunity to where we've created such a massive footprint and foundation where people have been impacted by what they have seen, whether it's one video, 10 videos, 100 videos of the work we've done. Now, look, brother, I'm going to Australia. I'm going to India. I'm going to the UK.
Now you're only one person,
I'm going
though.
to Japan. There's no boundaries.
But are you training more? Are you creating more Michael Rays out there? Like, how do you scale? Cloning doesn't, well, we don't know. Maybe it does, but right now it's not legal. But like, how do you find those gems where now you've got like 30 of you all across the world?
Well, so I think first and foremost, what we're wanting to do short term is to create market or city ambassadors. Okay. And I'm not big on titles, but yet you got a point person in a singular setting. And a great example is, look, I'll be specific. We're talking about now going to Philly and New York City.
Yeah.
They're two individuals because of the beauty of LinkedIn that I've built relationships with over the course of months that want to have me in and do what I'm doing here. Now, the challenge sometimes is when you talk about what you're talking about is that I do this beyond full time.
That's right.
So there's no boundaries. So it's not a 40-hour-a-week job because I do it most of the time 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
If I had to guess, I'd do it probably 50 to 80 hours a week. But yet again, it's back to Gary Vee. When you absolutely love what you're doing, it's not work.
Well, can I challenge
passion.
can I challenge you and Gary Vee on that, where it is work, and how we were created and designed is to work within our gifting and passions. Because
I do agree with that.
It's not a job. I would say it's not a job, but I think you're working your tail off and you're showing. I mean, to me, and Gary Vee, gracious man, that guy works like he's an animal. But like, I just and that's just my personal thing is I love work. I promote work. I don't like jobs. Jobs are like, so it's more semantics.
It is.
But,
You're right. Lasting relationships
yes.
with a lot of quality, like-minded people. Again, I shared this earlier with you. I think it was off camera, and that is, it's about connecting the dots.
That's right.
And LinkedIn has the ability to connect more dots than you can ever imagine.
Yes. But what my thought is that the companies that are at a loss of words where how they can contribute, can they reach out to you and then use your ability to transform lives through the simple act of smiling? How do they reach out to you? How do they get a hold of you and say, hey, take my $25,000 and go change New York for 4 days? How do they do that?
So first of all, my response is, and I love responding this way when it comes to smiling and transforming lives, and that is, man, it's all day, every day. Yes. Yes. So look, I've got a website, smileprojectlouisville.com.
Okay.
My phone number's on there. My email address is on there. You can DM me on there. There's every way. And look, the bigger picture is that, is as you would scale anything and you continue to build relationships, okay, it might be singular first with specific human beings in a market, and we go do the work and then going, okay, well, when can we go back? And when is that company in New York City bringing us back? Again, and I have thought about, it's the ability, the analogy I use when I take smiles to somebody and they're total strangers and I do random acts of kindness. The analogy I use is, imagine watching an insanely awesome basketball game on your couch.
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel it. And then if your team wins, you feel all the emotions because you're cheering on your team. But then if I told you, you could watch the same game sitting courtside. It's the same outcome, but yet it's different because you're in the environment. And that's what I've tried to share with people.
Love it.
When I go do it and you watch the video, a lot of times people are moved with all different kinds of emotions.
Yes.
But I've said, imagine if you were standing right behind me, watching it happen, because a lot of times we just film these short bursts and then the camera stops and these human beings are trying to process what a total stranger did for them and how they're hugging it out, they're crying, the love they have felt, and you see and feel that in the moment. So when you talk about companies and individuals in other cities, that's what I envision. So when I say we're going to Philly and New York City, look, it ain't necessarily getting together for drinks and dinner, even though that's going to happen. But we're going to go out in those cities.
Yes.
And we're going to do 4, 5, 6 random acts of kindness in a day.
That's right.
So the people then who only watched it by video are now going to have an opportunity to go see, feel, live in those moments again. And that's how you continue to create amazing, lasting change.
They could have the worst day of their life. You come in smiling with that goofy smile and giving them balloons and stuff. It's not like they can hold back that smile, right?
It is. And, look, man, that's what I truly try to impress upon people is that, look, I give away gift cards, and I try to make people smile in the moment. But look, that is just this very small part of how I live my life. So when I roll into the grocery store, or the coffee house, or the gym, or anywhere, it's these small things that I continually do that are free, that cost nothing. You know, it's the fist bump, it's the high five, it's the smile, it's saying hello, it's asking how somebody, you know, how they're doing. It's just, all of that shit's free, dude. Because again, you don't know, as I shared earlier, when you're going to have that moment, when you're with Sean Trell at the Wendy's drive-thru.
That's right.
And it's going to change your life.
Yes.
You know, and again, it's hard for people to comprehend it and let that marinate. But yet, you know, look, it can change the course of your morning, your day. And it builds upon that. And that's what it did for me. It changed the course of my day. And then it changed the course of another day. And then I was like, what am I doing? You know?
It's awesome. It's a great example. Folks, anyone watching this program, please, let's get some funding over to Smile Project Louisville. There's big plans, big dreams. Michael, thank you so much for joining. Remember, in business and in life, never go small, always go big. Thanks, man.
Amen, brother. God bless.